January 2018. January 2nd, 2018. With the simple rotational generator, other than needing to plane the magnet so the fields lay flush against each other along the outer curves, what would happen if you split the surface area of each outer part's magnet and rotated the lower halves by 20 degrees so you had 2 points of rotation acting on each magnet at each point along the inner's length? You would most likely have a dead zone in the middle where the two fields repel each other, but it would allow no need to start the devices two opposing directions are forced on the movable plane. It would force them to move because the inner side's plane is greater in length than the one's outer side's plane's field. January 16th, 2018. Once the book is done and the second book is done, work on the comic of your life until it starts to get to present day. Then do what you want. January 22nd, 2018. 800 by 1280 Kindle comic book page size. January 22nd, 2018. I wonder if the pull of the universe will cause it to eventually fold in the middle and split into two opposingly traveling semi-universes. Backlash from the Big Bang. January 29th, 2018. This is my house picture. I'm rarely able to leave it as late, me peering out the window. Say the last year or two, except to see my doctor, 1, or my therapist, or to spend 20 minutes at the grocery store, 2, walking in the grocery store. If I'm lucky, I can go to the library, 3, or spend 30 minutes at the local cafe with headphones on without thinking I'm being followed, 4, sitting in the cafe overhearing people's conversations. I spend my time around others as most do their lunch break at work, 5, cup of coffee on table. In 30-minute increments, often piecemeal and seldom venturing from my solitude, 6. 7. You see, I was diagnosed schizoaffective disorder after my first psychotic break, clutching head. I effectively can't line my reality up to those around me any longer, even with some scary strong antipsychotics taken daily. Pill bottles, 8. It's been a long and slow road to being semi-normal again, and it's not the only condition I've been diagnosed with, 9. I want to tell you what it's like to being a person who's lived through diagnosis of cerebral palsy, ADHD, 1 primary inattentive muscular dystrophy, the aforementioned schizoaffective disorder, synesthesia, and high-functioning autism. 10. I want to see if my lifetime of events are worth sharing to show the development of conditions, perhaps to see if doing this gives me a chance to get off disability and make a living again so I have new stories to share, likely just to see if I can do it before the rest of my hands go. January 29th, 2018. When building graphene sheets, is it the vibration of the machinery that's causing the broken connection? What else could it be other than improperly diffused materials in the bath? Also, the sheets are important, but it's when you get into any shape you want, like prisms and fourth dimension shapes, that you get into interesting mechanics of what the graphene can be built into. With regards to power absorption and production, directional power flow in alternating directions, for instance, by tunneling between different connection points and filling the tubes with different materials like copper molecule chains, you can guide the charge as well as the magnetic force in any given direction of the structure. And if you twist the tunnel around a center tube and fill one with a magnetic field producing material, when charged and run a field around that wrapped wire tube, you'll get a magnet that pulses in direction of charge relative to charge type's direction, as well as the ability to build that up to any density of magnetic field while keeping the charge point wafer thin. Useful for medical technologies and generator production. Coating the outer core of the spherical dynamo with this and running a small electrical charge through it means you could control and direct any number of magnetic hills in any velocity you choose. You can create waves of pulse that sense to the movement of the holes, and they can be powered by the magnetic fields of the holes passing over the membranes. If the tubes face the right directions, are filled with adjacent pointing twisted slabs in the wire. Perhaps if they spin inside the tube's housing, that would be beneficial. As those pieces spin, they catch on to the leading pieces ahead of the wave formation of movement and keep the charge going around until it hits the point of building up upon itself and moving faster or being siphoned from the device. Honestly, building a generator out of graphene would be a lot of fun. You would get to build the graphene printing technology as well. If you run a magnet along it, depending on the direction of the field's movement, it'll produce a charge and become opposingly magnetic based on the spiral of the outer tubes. If you made the segments inside the inner tube magnetic and set it at a spinning gradient throughout and then pulsed along the different outer tubes by scoring the graphene gates at the edge of the molecules, you could do a multitude of things like data transmission or centrifugal force to throw in the tubes when done in large enough batches in a general direction based on the amount of charge going through the tubes, meaning you could have Guidance of the graphene parts is made into miniature machinery through electrical generation. Why don't they build a mile-tall railgun to launch pods into orbit? Skyscrapers can get that big. Why not an orbital launcher? Guns work for a reason. Surely metal plating with magnetic abilities is cheaper and more eco-friendly than rocket fuel. Reusable, too. Then you use a rocket once you're in orbit. Much more fuel efficient and smaller, lighter loads possible. A graphene printer that works. Millions. Graphene in any shape you want. Hundreds of millions. Board and tube graphene that is still strong enough to work. A few million. Realistically, what you could build with it. If I had access to the people working on the stuff, a laboratory and books with people to help pull designs apart and the machinery to make them, and a wage that reflects the complexity and usefulness of what I'm working on, then what else would be needed? As long as I own what I make to be leased for a set amount of time before being sold to another company, I don't care about the company that makes it happen, as long as I'm being paid. It's 1 a.m. and I'm manic. I'm going to bed. Hi everybody. So I've made a new store called AnimalQuest.shop, and I made my first shirt, Barkland Reading, at the Amberstone's house, and I would ask that you go and buy those there. I'll make a few bucks each time you buy something from there, and I have men, women's, baby clothing, and buttons, as well as other accessories, including dog bandanas, which I think are pretty cool. And I'll be adding more merch every week or two for that store as the stories progress and the sequels are written and read. I'll do the same for Divergent Mind. The link again is animalquest.shop. The link for Divergent Mind will be divergentmind.shop as well. Thank you so much. Jay. Please visit anchor.fm/divergentmind to leave a message so that I may get back to you. Thank you. Have a nice day. So I just signed up for Anchor's funding platform for the podcasters. It seems like a better deal than Patreon at the moment. So I would ask that you click the button that says donate and maybe donate $1 or $5 or $10 a month to us so that we can keep going. And I can produce almost daily or daily podcasts or more in the way that I've been going. And I'll produce book after book after book after book, and then I'll read through them. And I'll keep doing that until I can't see an end to it. It's so much fun. It really is. So please go to anchor.fm/divergentmind and click the donate button, and that'll help me out a whole bunch. Thank you so much. Jay. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know that I have a YouTube channel called Taught Myself, and that I've decided to start selling merch already with a phrase that my brother showed me saying, "My disability is invisible," of which I made a hat for myself. So I decided to make hats, shirts, hoodies, for both men and women on Spreadshirt.com. All you have to do is search for "My disability is invisible." It's in green, and that's mine. You'll know it's me because when you click the sale icon, the same little Divergent Mind icon comes up. And I hope you'll support me. I make about $5 per shirt or per sale. Everything else goes to Spreadshirt. But that's okay because it's still a better deal than a lot of other places. And I really hope you'll support me. Come check me out on the YouTube. Teach me how to do that properly so I can have a community there too. And I await your response. Have a lovely day. Jay.
Hey people, take a listen to the Divergent Mind podcast. You get both insight into living with a serious mental illness and get to listen to a lovely tale about a journey cute little animals need to take. Don't miss out, and remember, divergent minds don't need to think alike.
Please go to ratethispodcast.com/divergentmind and tell me what you think. Thank you very much. Yours truly, Jay.